In the United States, the right to vote is fundamental to our democracy. It's the cornerstone of our system of government. Election law is important because it sets the rules for how we choose our leaders. These rules ensure that elections are fair, transparent, and accessible to all eligible voters. Election law is complex and constantly evolving. It encompasses a wide range of issues including voter registration, campaign finance, and election administration. Understanding election law is essential for anyone who wants to participate in our democracy. Throughout history, the right to vote has been expanded and protected through constitutional amendments, legislation, and court decisions. These laws reflect our society's commitment to the principle of one person, one vote. This essay explores the key aspects of U.S. election law, examining its historical foundations, landmark legal cases, and ongoing challenges. By understanding these issues, we can better appreciate the importance of election law in safeguarding our democracy. The U.S. Constitution provides the framework for our elections. However, it originally left many details about voting rights to the states. Over time, amendments to the Constitution have been crucial in expanding suffrage and ensuring equal voting rights for all citizens. The 15th Amendment, ratified in 1870, was a pivotal step. It granted African American men the right to vote, stating that the right to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. The 19th Amendment, ratified in 1920, was another milestone. It granted women the right to vote, a hard-fought victory for the women's suffrage movement. The amendment simply states, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex." The 24th Amendment, ratified in 1964, outlawed poll taxes in federal elections. Poll taxes, used in some states to disenfranchise African Americans and poor voters, were deemed unconstitutional. This amendment furthered the cause of voting rights by removing economic barriers to participation. The 26th Amendment, ratified in 1971, lowered the voting age from 21 to 18. This amendment was passed during the Vietnam War era, reflecting the sentiment that those old enough to fight for their country should also have the right to vote. These amendments demonstrate the ongoing effort to make our democracy more inclusive and representative. They highlight the importance of constant vigilance in protecting and expanding voting rights for all. Campaign finance law is one of the most contested areas of election law. It grapples with the tension between free speech rights and the need to prevent corruption, or the appearance of corruption in elections. The central question is how to regulate the role of money in politics without unduly limiting political participation. The landmark case of Buckley v. Valeo, decided in 1976, established the basic framework for modern campaign finance law. The Supreme Court upheld limits on contributions to candidates, recognizing the potential for corruption if individuals or groups could give unlimited amounts of money. However, the court struck down limits on campaign spending by candidates, arguing that such restrictions violated the First Amendment right to free speech. In Citizens United v. FEC, decided in 2010, the Supreme Court further altered the campaign finance landscape. The court ruled that corporations and unions have the same First Amendment rights as individuals when it comes to political spending. This decision led to the rise of super PACs, which can raise and spend unlimited amounts of money from corporations, unions, and individuals. These cases illustrate the ongoing debate over the role of money in politics. Supporters of campaign finance regulations argue that they are necessary to prevent corruption and ensure that elections are fair. Opponents argue that such regulations infringe on free speech rights, and that the best remedy for money in politics is more disclosure and transparency. The debate over campaign finance reform continues today. Proposals include stricter disclosure requirements, public financing of elections, and constitutional amendments to overturn the Citizens United decision. The outcome of these debates will have a significant impact on the future of American democracy. Section 4. Ensuring fairness, due process, and equal protection in elections. The 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause guarantees that states must treat all citizens equally under the law. This principle has been crucial in challenging discriminatory voting practices and ensuring that all citizens have an equal opportunity to participate in the political process. The landmark case of Reynolds v. Sims back in 1964 established the principle of one person, one vote. The Supreme Court ruled that state legislative districts must be roughly equal in population to ensure that each citizen's vote carries equal weight. This decision had a profound impact on redistricting and political representation, leading to fairer and more representative elections. In Shelby County v. Holder in 2013, the Supreme Court struck down a key provision of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. This provision required certain states and localities with a history of racial discrimination in voting to obtain federal approval before making changes to their voting laws. The court's decision, which many saw as a blow to voting rights, has led to renewed concerns about voter suppression efforts, particularly in states with a history of discrimination. These cases highlight the ongoing struggle to ensure that elections are conducted fairly and that all citizens have an equal opportunity to participate in our democracy. The courts continue to play a crucial role in upholding voting rights and striking down discriminatory voting practices. Section 5. The referee of the game, the FEC's role in U.S. elections. The Federal Election Campaign Act of 1971 established the Federal Election Commission, or FEC. The FEC is the independent agency responsible for enforcing campaign finance law in federal elections. Its duties include disclosing campaign finance information, limiting campaign contributions, and overseeing public funding of presidential elections. The FEC requires candidates and political committees to disclose their fundraising and spending activities, providing transparency for voters. The FEC sets limits on how much individuals and organizations can contribute to candidates, political parties, and PACs. The FEC also administers the public financing system for presidential candidates who choose to participate. The FEC has faced criticism over the years for its effectiveness in enforcing campaign finance laws. Some argue that the agency is too partisan, and that it lacks the resources to adequately investigate and prosecute violations. Others contend that the FEC has been effective in deterring some illegal activity and promoting transparency in campaign finance. Regardless of these criticisms, the FEC plays a vital role in administering and enforcing campaign finance law. Its work is essential for maintaining public confidence in the integrity of our elections. Section 6. PACs and Super PACs. The rise of big money in politics. Political action committees, or PACs, are organizations established to raise and spend money to elect or defeat candidates for federal office. PACs are subject to contribution limits and disclosure requirements. They are typically affiliated with corporations, labor unions, or ideological groups. Super PACs, officially known as Independent Expenditure-Only Committees, emerged after the Citizens United decision. Unlike traditional PACs, Super PACs can raise and spend unlimited amounts of money from corporations, unions, and individuals. They are prohibited from coordinating their activities with candidates or political parties. The rise of Super PACs has significantly impacted campaign finance. They have injected vast sums of money into elections, often through negative advertising. Critics argue that Super PACs give wealthy donors and special interests outsized influence in elections. Proponents counter that Super PACs promote free speech and provide a valuable counterweight to candidate campaigns. The debate over the influence of Super PACs is likely to continue. Reformers have called for stricter regulations on Super PACs or even a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. However, any significant changes to the campaign finance system face an uphill battle in the current political climate. Section 7. Balancing power, political appointments, and the integrity of elections. Political appointments, particularly those related to election administration, are crucial to ensuring fair and impartial elections. The individuals responsible for overseeing elections, such as secretaries of state and members of election boards, hold positions of immense power and responsibility. Maintaining the integrity of elections requires a balance of power and independence in the appointment process. Concerns arise when political appointees are perceived as partisan or beholden to specific candidates or parties. This can erode public trust in the electoral process. To safeguard against undue influence, some states have implemented nonpartisan or bipartisan commissions to oversee elections. These commissions aim to reduce the potential for partisan bias in election administration. Additionally, transparency and accountability mechanisms are essential to hold political appointees responsible for their actions. This includes clear ethical guidelines, financial disclosure requirements, and mechanisms for public scrutiny and oversight. The appointment process for election officials is an often overlooked but critical aspect of election integrity. Ensuring a fair and impartial process, free from undue influence, is paramount to maintaining public trust in the outcome of elections.